Hello and welcome to Mad Al Goes Racing, and today we are having a look at what's been happening with Automobilista 2 since the last early access release, which was 0.9.7.0, and I'll just hit a button and we'll have this playing in the background, and hopefully it's not too damn loud, because that's better. It's definitely myself, hopefully it didn't make any difference. Since the last EA release, there has been several beta releases, 0975, 0980, 0990, 0995, which also had a minor update, 0996, ouch, and what I'm going to do is just go through sort of roughly what's been going on. Content wise, now there has been a load of additional content added of cars and tracks, and it's a mix of some that has already been announced and some that hasn't. And because there's going to be some stuff that hadn't already been announced, what Risa said was, please don't stream anything, purely to avoid giving away what's been added, which is fair enough. This, just in case you're wondering, is a replay from a race that I had online yesterday, which is using the EA version, so all safe and secure. All I can say about the content is it's looking great and it's feeling great, so you'll enjoy it, hopefully. Now, UI and HUD, fixed a number of gears, gearbox information, power outputs, and other vehicle information, track lengths, missing track maps, car logos, other information, general tidy and make sure all the info is present and correct. Obviously that's a fairly generic thing, because obviously I can't go for this particular track because it might be one of the new ones, or for this car because it might be one of the new ones. But basically they're just going through and making sure that all the right information for all the tracks, all the cars is there, present and correct, and you've got all nice little icons and avatars and logos and everything else. So that's that one. Physics, DRS added some more cars, more changes to the adhesive friction with velocity and tread adjustments to all tyres, both wet and dry. Altered suspension rates on some cars, altered the brake duct cooling on some cars. Like I said, I'm being generic here. Changes the pit lane speed limit for various cars and classes, and they've reduced the higher speeds to avoid issues on the initial release. Well, initially they'd said 250k, was it, or something ridiculous for the pit speed limit for sort of classic cars, because they didn't have pit limiters. They've actually changed it now, I think 120. I'd have to double check, but 120 kilometres an hour now is like their maximum limit. I think the idea is basically to stop people being complete and utter arseholes in public lobbies, which is fair enough. I don't have a problem with that. They have added some changes to the code in the way the physics and the PhysX, that's the NVIDIA PhysX part which deals with collisions, interact, to hopefully get rid of some of the problems with basically sticking to walls, or when you touch a wall you stop dead almost, so which you'll probably see an example or two of in this, because I think I hit a wall at some point and so did several other people. Slight drafting effects reduction, so you won't get quite so much draft. Changes in tyre load stiffness with pressure on various cars. Again, that's it may have softened it, it may have stiffened it. It doesn't actually matter which way it went. It's just been changed. Reduced fraction of lap that invalidates the next one if going off track in TT mode. So again, that's you can get further towards the end of the lap before you actually go, I've just stuck two wheels off the track, oh bollocks, the next one's not going to count because it's damned annoying. Mitigated chances of various cars rolling when riding high curbs. Yeah, that's always a danger. Changed several penalties to be a little less draconian. My word, not theirs. again, it's a case of you're trying to have fun. If you get stupid penalties and they piss you off, there's no point in playing, really. So they've changed those a bit. Sorted aero and damage for all cars for those that were still on provisional. So again, that's a case of polishing, getting ready to go. Fully revised kart physics and AI for all kart classes. As I mentioned previously, the AI, when they were doing the sort of 70-20 bit, seemed to not have any real range to it. That should now all be sorted out, although I haven't checked it myself. But I may get around to it at some point in the near future if I stop doing other things. Decreased brake fade below optimal temperature. So yeah, cold brakes were a little bit dangerous. Now they're a little less dangerous. Changes to default steering lock for some cars. Again, that's just a case of making them probably easier to get on with. Some of them might have been a little bit too much steering input required. Try using words, boy. A certain series has had, which might indicate there's something new. Revised engine compression curve, reduced pitch sensitivity, increased body aero torque from rotation, adjusted tyres for a bit more longitudinal slip, and improved feel. Fixed minor inaccuracies in tyre diameter for a couple of cars, whether that's so that they physically match the size they look, or whether that's because they were just the wrong size anyway, don't know, but they've been corrected. Adjusted suspension damage thresholds, so hopefully you might notice me wiper started going. You should see a bit of rain, hopefully. You might find that one or two cars were either too easy or too difficult to damage suspension, so that's been changed. Corrected power output that was rather a long way out on a certain series. Revised some Formula Car engine torque curves, removed onboard brake bias and adjustable roll bars for cars that shouldn't have them. Well, yeah, you don't want to be able to adjust something that you shouldn't be able to. Minor FFB, aero and inertia adjustments to one of the new vehicles. Again, that's just a matter of they put it in, they're getting it, so it's really nice. Right, AI. I think I just tapped the car as I was overtaking it there. Sorry, Justin. Improved AI throttle logic to change for slow, medium, high-speed corners. I think that's a secondary revision. Enabled different accuracy ranges for different AI driver skill. How good they are at applying inputs. They're still looking at custom AI for the future, so that hasn't gone out the window, so don't worry. Reduced how much AI drivers stray from ideal lines when exploring different lines. So again, that's just a case of making sure they don't go wandering off too far. Further reduction to overtaking boost. Adjusted AI speed under blue flag off track and damaged car. Adjusted AI damper rates to avoid bouncing over higher curbs. Further changes to AI strength rates to spread the ranges of cars between the highest and the lowest. Again, that's the 70 to 120 being spread out a little bit more to again make it a bit better for the sort of lower end or the higher end, depending upon which end of the scale you happen to be on at the moment. What you don't want is to get into a game and find that even on the lower setting you can't compete. It's very off-putting and does tend to annoy. There's nothing worse than finding your way out of your depth and you can't get into a game. Reduced maximum AI lateral offset from ideal line. Again, that's about just making sure they don't wander off too far. Audio. Adjusted surface sound gain. That was causing crackling when you're on the limiter, which is slightly strange, but there you go. Disabled automatic toggling of headphone down mix mode. Presumably that's when you selected headphones, it automatically put the down mix in, which you don't necessarily want. Fixed AeroWare 4.0 channel configuration in Windows, resulting in 5.1 mixing mode in game. Placed. I thought it was me going slowly for a second. Placed limiter on surface sound bus. Limiter in stereo output mode is controlled from game code. Don't know why I went Chinese there, but there you go. Output set to -6 dB to avoid possible output overloading. Yeah, that's one of the things about the Magnus engine. For some reason the sound is really high. I think I got it set on about 20 to stop me getting deafened. I think everybody in Discord yesterday was going, I can't hear Discord at all. So you got some people turning the sound out about 8 on the master, just so that you hear what was going on Discord. It is a bit loud, I have to say. Adjusted gear change sound and volume on a couple of cars. Hopefully toned some of them down because they're a little bit noisy. Adjusted engine sound position and gearbox sound position for all cars. Gear shifts should no longer be offset to the side. Fixed moving shift sounds on multiple open wheelers. Well, I don't know what that was about. So, without going through every thing in the forum and finding out just what the hell this moving shift sound was, I don't know, but it's been fixed. Improved loops on several engine sounds. That's to make them so they're when they get to the end of the loop and go back to the start, you don't clicks and things. Duratec engines specifically mentioned, but I think Duratec's used in a few cars. Tracks updated 3D grass shader and disabled the 3D grass renderer in the mirrors. So if you've got a slightly weaker machine, you should have you should be able to turn the mirror up maybe a little bit without having to worry about the grass showing up in the background. It's a lovely grass, and that's before they've improved it. Adjusted fog climate values, which adds a little more haze to the horizon. Fixed some transparent trees, presumably either weren't transparent or too transparent. Ouch! Put me right off that did. Improved some AI lines, revised various trackside cameras. Some of them were a little bit in funny places. That's one of those things you can iterate through several times to get the best possible camera. I mean, cameras around here are pretty damn good. I mean, especially things like that where you're coming down to the last couple of corners, down the hill around the corner, and you're breaking through it and you can see the car really getting lively through there. Yeah, I'll put myself right off my stride now. Where was I? Fix bugged crowds. That's the one with all the ants in it, presumably. That was on one circuit. Fixed incorrect map coordinates. Again, that was on one circuit. I can't remember which one. Replaced Automobilista 2 trackside logos for extreme sim racing. Again, that's about all the Automobilista 2 signage around the outside of the circuits was basically placeholders and now being replaced with either series specific for certain Brazilian tracks and other tracks, or just more general things for sim related, like extreme sim. Oh, that was a scary moment. So they look a bit more professional, if you like. Art and optimization pass, updated AI pass for new tracks. Vehicles, wiper animations, you saw some happening there. And cockpit vibrations on various cars, sort of things like if you've got netting over the window to get it to vibrate, you'll have seen something similar, very squirrely there. In Project Cars 2, where all the bits of meshing and sort of dashboards vibrate, and the sort of bonnet on your car will vibrate at certain engine revs and things like that. So all those little things that add a lot, but you don't possibly think about them until you see them, and then you're probably not thinking about them until somebody mentions them and you're going, oh, actually that is a lot. And it's actually quite a bit of work to put all these animations in, but I all add that little bit extra. Fixed stroke added suspension animations, so there's one or two cars that weren't quite right, they fixed those, and one or two others they've added them to them. Fixed RPM LED ranges, some of them were wrong, some were missing.
Added Drs Wing Animation to cars that have DRS. Revised backfire logic for all cars, which should reduce backfires on upshifts whilst increasing them on downshifts / lifting. Increased headlight range at night for all cars that have headlights. There's a bit of an argument going on that all cars should have headlights. Well, no. As far as I'm concerned, if I don't have headlights in real life, unless you can put on a set of auxiliary lights, a bit like the old rally cars with a load across the front, maybe, but most of the time, no. And what else did I just think of? Yeah, just trying to remember where I read about the DRS. They're putting the correct DRS zones on certain tracks and enabling them. I'm just trying to remember where I read that. Because either I've forgotten to put some of the things in the thing I was writing earlier, or I've just completely lost the plot. Adjusted upper driver model, LOD switching, which fixes the driver appearing to duck as car approaches TV cam. And more new liveries. I don't know if these are new or... But basically the LOD change, in certain open wheel cars especially, you quite often, as the camera, or as the car goes past the camera pans past, you see the head sort of do this, depend upon how far it is from the camera, so all a bit strange looking. Now, I'll just go have a quick, see if I've missed something. Oh yeah, I must have missed this bit. More of that. 3D animation. Another art pass on a certain new track that I'm not going to mention. Trackside advertising. DRS rules implemented. Whip. No effects on AI physics yet, and only Montreal and Interlagos at the moment with zones mapped out. So there you go. That's where I read it. I knew I'd read it somewhere. A few other changes in front wing sensitivity. Another change in carcass stiffness, tread adjustments, bit of FFB smoothing removed. It's changes in FFB clipping. Oh yeah, another couple of things here. Lowered brake heating for steel brakes, so basically you're less likely to overheat your brakes so easily if they're steel brakes, because it's quite easy to cook the brakes if you're not careful. Slight increase in downforce on the certain Australian car. It's already been in, but I'm still not going to mention it. Balance and performance pass for the P1 class. AI calibration pass for P1's retro car and rental cart. GX390 and rental. I mentioned a cart. Further revision of the arrows on the F3s and the Formula Reza. I will mention that because you should all know it's there. But yeah, I must have missed adding those final bits there. Yep. Trouble is, I've been chucking out so much stuff, and I've been trying to put them on a document to keep them up to date, and I must have missed adding that last little bit from the 996. Oh, after all that. Right. Well, like I said, load of new stuff gone in. Load of work been done. Lots and lots of work. With a bit of luck and following wind, version 1 may be out at the end of this week. Don't hold me to that, and definitely don't hold Reset to that, because it's development and it can go tits up at any point, and you suddenly find you need an extra few days, weeks, years to sort something out, depending upon how much of a pain in the bum it is. I have to say, this looks absolutely bloody stunning. It's the first time I really bothered to watch, although I'm not really watching it, a replay on it, and it looks absolutely bloody phenomenal. Dodgy pass coming up. No, didn't go for it. Thought I was, then I wasn't. A little bit of brake glow there, you notice? Was it up here I did the dodgy pass? I'm trying to work out which straight we're on. The old Ultimas, these are absolutely bloody superb cars. They're, I mean, drove 3 races in them last night on in multiplayer. We did, where did we go? We did Kyalami Historic, and then we did this, which is the Imola 72, and then we did the Interlagos 76 or whatever it is. Is it 76 or is it 88? The 7 kilometre one that seems to disappear up his own backside. And this car was brilliant around all of them. It really works well on those bigger, faster tracks. You see me coming out the corners, hopefully. It's rotating so naturally and so quickly. It's just on the default setup, and it's just so much fun to drive. Absolutely brilliant. We did then go on and we did a race in the sprint cars, and actually I prefer this to the sprint car in terms of FFB especially. I know a lot of people, there was 25 of us in there, and various people in there had wheels ranging from sort of like fairly cheap and cheerful low end stuff to sort of DD wheels, and the vast majority of people are saying it's sort of some of the best force feedback they felt on the sprint car, but I probably need to adjust my settings because I found it was it's a little bit numb compared with these. It's not quite as good. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, in fact it's bloody brilliant, but it's just I prefer this very slightly. I think I can feel when it's right on the edge better on this than I can on the sprint car. That's probably the difference, but absolutely bloody superb. And I think with that'll probably be just about the end of the race here, and I've come to the end of speaking as well, so there you have it. This is what's coming in, I think I'm going to call it the Run to 1, which is the shot up to version 1 of AMS2. Why are we sort of viewing, going around? Yeah, what's happening? Oh, we've started it again. That stopped it mid-flow. Oh, nice blur on the cars there. So, for me, for now, that will do. Hopefully, if it doesn't emerge at the end of this week, I'll give another rundown on what else has been happening. Hopefully, there'll be a version 1 out at the end of this week. Swiftly followed probably by a bit of DLC, which everybody should already have read about, but if you haven't, it will be in the May dev update. There's probably going to be a June update very soon, so I'll link to that as usual in the blurb. So for now, stay safe, enjoy your racing, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.